Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. So following the recent patch, I thought it was time to do a new tier list. I didn't bring out a tier list straight away because I was still feeling around the characters. I wanted to see how Feng Wei felt in the new patch because he was widely considered to be the strongest character, or at least second strongest in the previous patch. So I had to get a feel for my characters, see what people are saying, see how I feel about everybody, and then I'm able to give my thoughts, who I think sits at the top and who I think sits at the bottom. The reason that I have made it so S, A+, A and A- is that there are no weak characters in this game. So let me just make that clear before we go forward with this. If your character is at the very bottom, they are still more than capable and extremely powerful. A lot of people like to cope and say, well, I play this character type. Every character is strong, guys, okay? None of this coping stuff. Even Devil Jin. Yes, I know Devil Jin's had some unfair changes made to him, but he's not weak. There is a lot of resting on, oh, my character is not this character, so I have to struggle more. There's none of that in Tekken 8. Absolutely none. So we're not entertaining that train of thought. There are nothing below A in this game. Everybody is good. So we're going to start with who I believe is the best character in this game. Now, obviously, this is all my opinion. None of it is the gospel truth. You are more than welcome to contest it in the comment section below. Everybody's going to have an idea of who they think is number one. Tier lists are very subjective, so take it with a pinch of salt, and also bear in mind I am not a professional player. I don't play on the level of Arslan Ash. I am a Tekken Emperor and I'm hard stuck at that rank. A, because I actually don't think I'm good enough right now to get the Tekken God, and B, even if I was, actually we're not going to go there today. Let's just focus on the tier list. So number one for me is still Dragunov. Now, I know some of you are probably thinking, what the hell are you talking about? Well, let's think about it for a second. What actually changed with Dragunov? Following the nerf he got, what actually changed about his game plan? Absolutely nothing. Quarter Circle 4 still hits on the ground, Hatchet Kick is very, very strong. Wall Running 2 is still very, very powerful. His grab mix-ups are still strong. Nothing changed other than they took away a bit of his damage, and rightfully so, because he was doing way too much damage. They adjusted some moves that were just a bit too silly, and he got a little bit more punishable and block on his Hatchet Kick. Now you can launch him on it, which should have been the case considering a Hatchet Kick hits grounded, and it's a very strong tool. When it hits you standing, so you're stuck in place. Nothing changed about this character. Nothing other than justifiable nerfs here and there, but his actual game plan remained exactly the same. So I don't know why he would drop in the tier list so dramatically with some people. For me, he is the strongest character in the game. In second place, I believe, is Yoshimitsu. This character does whatever he wants, whenever the hell he wants, and I was debating on whether I should put him first or second, but I'm going to go second just because there's a little bit more risk that is involved with Yoshimitsu than there is Dragunov. There's not much risk when you play with Dragunov. He's got a very safe game plan, but with Yoshimitsu there is a bit of risk. But oh my lord, can this character do the most. It is really infuriating to fight him. He makes you kill yourself. He makes you make stupid mistakes, and even when you're not making stupid mistakes, you've got to look out for the flash, you've got to look out for him spinning out of control, you've got to look out for his Soul Calibur style mix-ups. He is all over the place. He does very, very high damage. He has an unblockable low that is a launcher. He carries you to the wall very, very easily. I think Yoshimitsu is seriously being slept on, and that's coming from somebody that thinks he gets played quite often. I do think Yoshimitsu gets played quite a bit, but not as much as you would think considering how powerful he is, but I'm definitely seeing more of him now. So I would put Yoshimitsu there. The next character that I would have is Jin Kazama. This character is just, he's brain dead. Like, you literally turn your brain off and just go ham. His Demon Palm got nerfed, so what? It made really no difference. It was really just inconsequential. He's got very high damage, super simple to play. Giveaway Electric Wing God Fists. He's got very, very good lows, strong mix-ups. Jin's just an all-arounder. He does everything very well to a very high degree. Has a very good heat smash, very easy to do heat engages. So I think that Jin is a solid third. In fourth place, I'm putting King. Now, King received some nerfs, but he got that damn wave dash, and oh my lord, that wave dash is painful. But even with the nerfs that King got, they were nerfs because of the system changes, really. King got hit with the system change harder than everybody else because he's a grappler, but he's still so strong with his grabs. Like, King can change the tide of a match in a click of a finger. Like, he can just giant swing you when you're at the wall, and it basically does loads of combo damage. For everyone that's saying that this character is hard to use, he is not hard to use. The only thing that's hard to do with him is his wave dash. Everything else about King is easy. It's piss easy to do. do. He's got I think a down forward 1 counter hit launcher when you press 2, does good damage. When he low parries you, doesn't have to go for a combo or anything, just grabs you, gets very solid damage, has very good wall carry, has exceedingly stupid grab mix-ups. King, again, another character where I think people saw the changes to the system, they realized that it affected King more than a lot of other characters and they thought, oh, he's not good anymore. No, this character is still extremely powerful, so I'm putting King there. The next character that I'm going to put on this tier list is Alisa. Now Alisa is very simple to play. I think she's the most simple character to play and the output is very high, so you get maximum results from her for very low effort, and she has very good buttons, and when her chainsaws come out, it's unga bunga time. She has very good keep out tools, and she's also very hard to keep out because of how she travels across the screen. She's an anime character, she's doing her own thing, and you just have to kind of hope for the best sometimes. She has very good combo damage and she's very evasive as well. So I think Alisa, I think most people know that Alisa is up there. I think that whenever I speak to Alisa mains, they get very defensive about her, but character is, she's a lot to deal with. She is a lot to deal with, so I'm gonna stick her there. I know these are not comprehensive breakdowns, but I'm trying to like get through it so that it's easily watchable for you guys. But my general consensus is she is low effort for very high output, and the output that you get from her is consistently good. She's just a solid character all around. She's got solid buttons everywhere. The next character that I'm gonna put here is Nina. Nina she's been solid since day one. I was debating on whether she should be higher. I wasn't too sure, so I'm going to stick her there for now. Nina is an excellent character. Her guns are kind of ridiculous. They do very high damage, insane wall carry. She's very spammable as well. I used to think that Nina was a hard character to use until I started messing about with her, and I was like, oh, or maybe it's just Tekken 8. I think in Tekken 7 she was a bit harder to use, but in Tekken 8 she's not what I expected. I thought I was going to have a little bit more difficulty navigating the screen with her, doing her weird jittery movement. It's not as hard as I thought, so I'm gonna put her there. I think it's justified in saying in her being in the S rank. And then the last character I'm gonna put in the S rank is Ling Xiaoyu. Ling Xiaoyu is she's just a rule breaking character. I know every character, or most characters, have things that kind of break the rules of the game here and there. Ling Xiaoyu's rule breaking moves are just over the top in my opinion. It's just too much. Like, I am okay with her ducking under mids, even though that is very annoying, but her ducking under a low is unacceptable. First of all, it doesn't even make sense. If my foot is on the ground, how are you ducking underneath it? I don't understand. It makes no sense. It makes no sense whatsoever. So Ling Xiaoyu in the right hands is just an absolute menace to society. She's just off the wall insane in my opinion. The next character that I'm going to put is, now I'm going to go into A+. So the next character that I'm going to put in here is Claudio. This character is being slept on heavily slept on, and I think as tournaments progress and the level continues to progress, you're going to see Claudio more evasive, very hard to keep out, very high damage, very high wall combo damage. I was also debating whether I should put him in S. I wasn't too sure, but we'll put him in A+ for now. The next character I'm going to put on there is Brian Fury. Brian Fury was a big winner in this patch in my opinion. He's become much more difficult to fight. I can't really put my finger on why, but even in the previous patch, a lot of people were saying, oh, he's okay, he's not that bad. I was like, what game are you guys playing? That character is a menace as far as I'm concerned. Yeah, I think Brian Fury is really good. If you know how to do his taunt, even though it is difficult to do, if you know how to do it and you're at the wall at somebody, you basically just get unblockable. He's got very good buttons. He's got quite easy heat engages, and his heat smash is very strong. I was a bit surprised when I picked him up for a character that a lot of people say is very difficult to have heat engages that are that easy to do. So I was a bit surprised at that. He's got an orbital, of course. It's not a launch punishable, jab punishable launcher. You just do it, you throw it out there, it crushes lows. So orbitals are always great. Stuff is painfully always just getting hit by him and Lars. It's really annoying, but it is what it is. The next character that I am going to put in there is Kazuya. This character may be one of the biggest winners of this patch, and the only reason that I'm not putting him higher is because I do think there's an execution barrier that stops people from being as consistent with him as they are with some of the other characters on here. He is extremely powerful on all parts of the map. He is a nightmare against the wall. He has very solid mix-ups. The punch that he used to kill Heihachi, I can't remember the name of it, but where he gets the purple glow around him, is very powerful. Then he also has a Demon Palm, which is also very powerful. Hell Sweep, of course, very powerful mix-up tool. Forward 3 is a launcher. It's safe, you know, he's always had that. It's kind of ridiculous in my opinion. There's other characters that have similar things, so you know, it is what it is. He's got very, very good lows, and now they've made his combos much more consistent, so the damage output that you're getting from Kazuya is exponentially higher. So needless to say, he's one of those characters where, you know, you fuck around, you find out very, very quickly. The next character that I am going to put here is Feng Wei. So you guys are probably wondering, when's this guy going to put Feng Wei on there? Of course he's acting like this, he plays him. This is just my honest opinion, guys. I think Feng Wei was much stronger in the previous patch, and whilst I think he's fine, like I said, there's no weak characters in this game. Everybody is strong, and to be an A+ amongst these guys, you gotta be strong. I just think Feng Wei has to work a little bit harder than some characters in this game, and I think that because he's not string heavy, I think people have taken what kind of damage he did in Tekken 7 towards the end of the game's lifespan and carried it over here, and then the talking points of higher level players have sort of seeped down into like the online world, and people have just run with it. I even saw a tier list today where they said Feng is the strongest character in the game, and I was like, oh my god, like surely not. So that's where I would put him. I was debating on putting him lower, but I think if you can play Feng effectively, yeah, his mix-ups can become an absolute nightmare. He can do everything. Feng Wei can do everything. Now, the thing that they did to Feng Wei is they took away some of his damage, and I can definitely feel it when I'm playing the game, and they took away some of his safety and some of his conversion. So from while your back is turned, if you press 2 previously in heat, you would get a launcher. Now you just get a shoulder, which I think is a fair nerf, but it is noticeable. It did definitely hurt the character. I'd put him in A+. I still think he's very strong. The next character I'd put here is Martial Law. I was debating whether I should put him in front of Feng Wei, but I think overall, I think Feng Wei is a little bit better. But make no mistake, Law is no slouch whatsoever. The character is a menace to fight. I don't know the notations of his moves because I haven't used Law properly since Tekken 6, but I just know that I don't enjoy fighting this character. I don't enjoy fighting him at all. It is the bane of my existence. I'm learning it over time, but irrespective of my personal feelings, I think that he has a lot of good tools, a lot of good mix-ups. He's much easier to use now that DSS is just hold forward. I'm surprised that they actually went with that change considering what he can get from it, but you know, it's not the worst thing in the world. It's not the worst thing in the world in my opinion, so that's where I think he would sit. The next character I'm going to put here is Shaheen. Shaheen is, I was debating whether to put Shaheen higher, to be honest with you. I wasn't too sure, but I think maybe some people might be blowing him out of proportion a little bit, but that's not to say he's not powerful. Shaheen is very, very strong. His slide is strong. His heat engager is strong. He's got one of those Victor while running 2s, or 1, I don't know what the notation is, but he basically like pierces you in your stomach. It's very strong, good chip damage. Yeah, I think he's quite a bit to deal with in my opinion. Next character I'd put here is Reina. Reina is very powerful. Of course, you know, she's a Mishima, so she's got her Godfish. She has solid mix-ups, very good wall carry, good damage. You know, she's got high damage. She's got a good counter. Yeah, she's just tough to fight against. she's quite exhausting to fight against. She has a hell sweep. She's got Kazuya's old hell sweep where he does the double low. So yeah, she's a very tough character. Again, I was debating on whether I should put her higher or not. I wasn't entirely sure. I think that's an okay place to put her. The next character that I'm going to put here is Lily. Again, a character that I was debating to put higher. I think you can probably guess now that other than Dragunov and Yoshimitsu, you can kind of jumble up the brackets that they're in. So if you were to say, oh, I think King is third, or I think that Alice is third, I wouldn't be mad at that. There's very, very minor differences separating them from where I'm putting them, and I'm not even exactly sure what they are. I'm just going off of the beatings that I've received in my head versus the wins that I've got from these characters and trying to construct a tier list that makes sense to me. Yeah, Lily makes sense for me to put her there. She's very close to everybody in A+. I mean, like, decibels are separating these characters. So, you know, don't think because you see her all that way away from Claudio that Claudio is much better. That's not the case. It's literally a hair that is separating these characters. That's how I'm looking at this tier list right now. The next character that I would put on this tier list, I've got to say it's probably gonna be Lee. Lee, again, super strong character, can go very unga bunga, has a good slide, good lows. I don't know what is it called assassin stance or something? Whenever he goes low and he starts like taunting you, it's very, very, very irritating. I don't enjoy fighting this character at all. The next character that I'm gonna put on here, and this might be a bit of a controversial one, but I do think that he's being slept on, and that is Leo. Leo is, I think someone's gonna come out of Leo and just completely wipe the floor of everybody soon. I honestly think that's probably gonna happen. I think even I am being a little bit unfair to the character. Maybe I should put him a bit higher. We're going to leave him there for now. As I said, these characters are not separated by much. They are all neck and neck with each other. It's just little things here and there in my experience playing them and how stupid they can get. So not entirely sold on the positions, but I am sold on the brackets that I'm putting them in, if that makes sense. The next character that I'm going to put on here is going to be Hwoarang. Now, I know the Hwoarang mains are going to go, what? After his nerfs? Yes, after his nerfs. The character's mix-ups are very, very strong. I understand that, you know, if you guess right against Hwoarang, you can just blow him up. And I understand that you kind of have to be on the ball when you're using him. I'm not saying that he's the easiest character to use, but my god, guys, the combo damage on this character and the mix-ups, I don't know how you could say he's a weak character. I don't know how you could say he's a destroyed character. He's just simply not. That's just not the case. I don't know what you're smoking, Hwoarang mains. This is a very powerful character and very competent, and the nerf was justifiable in my opinion. It was. Yeah, I know you're sitting there looking at the screen going, what is this guy talking about? You heard me right. The nerf was justifiable. Is there something else they should nerf in him? Yes, there is one other thing they should nerf in him. That move, I don't know what it is, I don't know what the notation is, but it's like a drop kick that has a heat engager on it and armor. It's plus on block, right? It staggers you, and it has a phantom range. So if you're saying, well, would you advocate for my character to be nerfed again? Absolutely, they should nerf that. Phantom ranges are annoying. They shouldn't be in the game in my opinion. Get them out of here. Next character that I'll put in here is Leroy Jenkins. I think Leroy got nice buffs in the patches that have followed. He's a solid character. He's very rare. You don't see him that much online, but when you do, you know you're in for a long day. So yeah, Leroy is a very tough character in my opinion, and I think he's going to do just fine. I think Leroy mains are going to do okay with him. The next character I'm going to put here is Paul Phoenix. Paul was one of the biggest winners of this patch. He was much lower down on my previous tier list, I think. I can't remember. If Paul catches you, especially at the wall, you're going to die. The difference between Paul and Claudio on this tier list is minuscule. Minuscule. Everybody that is in the same bracket, in my opinion, other than Dragunov and Yoshi, I think they floated off into their own section almost. Everybody else is close. Very, very close, and that's why I say Tekken 8 is a very viable game. For as much as I don't like certain things about this game, everyone's pretty viable. So none of this, oh, I'm using this character, blah blah blah. You're doing just fine, and if you're not, that is entirely your fault. Right. We're going to move into the next bracket now, and the first character I'm going to put there is Raven. The only reason that I'm not putting Raven here is that I think he has to risk a little bit more, but when he guesses right, your life bar just disappears, and his heat is very, very powerful because he uses clones on a lot of moves, and I don't think some of them take heat gauge as well. So Raven is very, very strong. He can easily beat anybody on this tier list. It's just there is a bit of a guessing game that is going on with Raven. There's a guessing game with every character in this game, don't get me wrong, but I think Raven is quite launch punishable on some things, so he's like a double-edged sword in my opinion. The next character that I'm gonna put on here is gonna be Lars. I know that might be unpopular with some of the Lars players, but there's a reason why this character is so popular. There's a reason why so many people use him, and even though people always fall back on, oh, he hasn't produced any tournament results, it only takes one to completely sway the discourse. Now, even if he hasn't produced any high level tournament results, there's a reason why so many of you are picking him. He is extremely easy to use, very high damage output, very good mix-ups, very hard to deal with moves. They gave him a buff where his, I think it's called DF or DN or something like that, where that palm to the chest that has a heat engager on it. Character is Unga Bunga as hell, guys. The people that are complaining saying, oh, Lars is not that good, it's just a skill issue. Maybe it is a little bit of a skill issue, but he is a good character. He's a very strong character. Like I said, there's no weak characters in this game. Next character I'd put on here is Victor. Victor is just Unga Bunga. Victor players are just, they're not even playing Tekken in my opinion. This character allows you to just do the most stupid shit for the lowest effort. He might be on par with Elisa when it comes to low effort in my opinion. The only reason I put him down there is that in my experience, he comes across quite punishable. If you can guess right against this guy, you can launch him quite effectively. If he guesses right against you, your life bar disappears. And he's just not fun to fight against. I hate fighting this character. It's like fighting Virgil. But my personal feelings aside, I think that because of the ease of use of this character versus the amount that you get out of him, it's justified in saying that he is an A character. He's very, very strong. There's absolutely no doubt about that whatsoever. The next character that I'm going to put here is Steve Fox. Steve seems a bit stronger since the patch. I don't know exactly what they did to him, but I'm seeing a lot more Steves online. His best moves, unfortunately, are highs, so you can duck and launch punish him, but he has solid mix-ups. He has an evasive move, kind of like Kempo, where he completely sways out of the way. It's actually, in my opinion, more evasive than Kempo, and then uppercuts you and gets very good damage from it. So he's a very, very solid character in my opinion. Very, very strong. The next character that I'm going to put here is John Kazama. John's an annoyance for me personally. I don't like fighting her, but I can definitely see the holes in her game. Again, she's very, very strong. She's very close to everybody on this tier list, but I do think there's you can kind of pick her apart a little bit easier. There's a string that she does where she kind of like backflips on you, and in between it you can interrupt it, and it's a good string as well. So if you know how to interrupt it, you're shutting down a big part of her game plan. But yeah, she's strong. Like I said, these Tekken tier lists are not like other fighting games where when you're getting towards the bottom you're saying, okay, we're getting into the shit characters. There's nothing like that at all. It's literally very minute things that separate these characters, and a lot of it could just be down to my personal knowledge, and I need to brush up on it, but that's just how I view them right now. The next character I'm going to put on here is Jack. Jack, again, very solid character, very, very solid. I wouldn't be surprised if you see Jack winning tournaments. He's got very good mix-up, very good damage, very good pokes, good keep-out tool with down forward 2, heat engager, hits you in the blink of an eye. It's too fast in my opinion, way too fast. Yeah, he's just a solid character all around in my opinion. I think he's very, very good. The next character I'm going to put here is Asuka. You lot are like, what, Asuka, isn't she going to go in A-? No, this character is too stupid and too brain dead to go in A-. Again, it's another character with extremely low effort for very high reward, and that has some merit when you're talking about tier list, because what are the players going to put in to get out? You don't have to put in anything with Asuka and you will get out a lot. She's a dumb character. She's absolutely brain dead. She's got some things that I just don't even understand why they're safe. Like, she's got sort of this move that's similar to one of Lars's, like maybe 1+2. I'm not too sure if it's that. And it's safe, and I'm just like, why? It's a launcher. Why are you making a launcher safe like that? No, it doesn't make any sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me why Lars' one is launch punishable, but her one isn't. So yeah. And then we're gonna put Asuzena here. Asuzena, you know, she's received nerfs. She's kind of fallen off in terms of what she was before. Still very strong. Don't sleep on this character just because she's lower down the tier list. I still think she's very competent and very capable of winning a tournament against the best characters in this game. It's just that she did receive noticeable nerfs, and she is easier to deal with now. So I think that's a fair placement for her. And then the last character I'm gonna put in there is Zafina. Zafina, I was debating putting higher, but I don't know enough about the character yet, and I'm gonna go based off of what I've seen from other people. She is very tricky to fight, but that is matchup knowledge. A lot of people don't get to fight her, so Zafina players get to get away with murder, and she can come across more overwhelming than what she is. Now, don't get me wrong, she's very strong. Her armored attacks are very, very good. This character, make no mistake, she ain't no joke. And her heat burst, or her heat smash, or whatever it's called, very strong, ridiculous range, stupid chip damage on block, and then you're just sort of caught in more sauce after that. So she has awkward animations as well, and it's very important to note that, because awkward animations can really flip the tide of a game. If you think someone's going mid and they're actually going low, and then that costs you the game, you know, one of those situations. Next character I'm going to put there is Eddie. Eddie, I think Eddie's actually really difficult to deal with if the Eddie player is smart, because he creates a lot of screen noise. But the unfortunate reality of Eddie is that he's just very punishable. So if you do manage to guess right with him, you can blow him up. So I think even though he is one of the hardest characters to fight in this game, in my opinion, against somebody that is really competent with him, because he creates so much screen noise, on paper, if we're talking about on paper, he is very punishable. And if he is in the tournament, I imagine he's going to be against players that know how to fight him very well. At the highest level, Eddie might be harder to win battles with. It would take a very special player like John Ding to do something serious with Eddie, in my opinion. I think at a certain level and a certain point, those players will start to disappear. Then I'm putting Devil Jin there. He's not the worst character in the game, guys. I don't care what any of you say. He's not. He's a Mishima. He's got a Hell Sweep. He's got an Electric. He's got a Demon Paw. He can fly. Yeah, he's got problems. There's a couple glitches on this character, but he's still strong. He's still solid. Maybe they will buff him. I hope they don't buff him too much, because, you know, if you overtune some characters like Devil Jin, they will literally become nightmares to deal with. So we'll see. And then I'm going to put Kuma there, and then Panda there. Now, Kuma and Panda are basically the same character. They're separated by what they do in Heat. I think they're very tough characters. I think they're extremely strong characters, but I've come to realize that they are quite launch punishable as well on quite a lot of different things, at least in my experience, and they are guessing quite a lot, so I wouldn't put them any higher than that. But the reason that I made it A- is that after S it's A, right? there's no letters in between, and that should tell you how close it is between Dragunov and Panda. Don't think because I put Panda last and Dragunov first, oh, there's a massive gap there. No. If you pick Panda against Dragunov and you lose, skill issue. Yeah, 100%. That's how close this game is. That is how close it is. Now, I have a lot of problems with Tekken 8, but the character variety is not one of them. Now, I do think you see a little bit more, you see some characters a little bit more than you would like because of the ease of use, but this is definitely one of the games where you get to see all of the characters, you know, fairly often. I think Asuzena is the one that I see the least now. That's my tier list, guys. Obviously Lydia's not out yet, so we're not going to add her in. I want to know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys think I was talking absolute shit, or if you agree with me. Let me know in the comment section below. Obviously let me know where you put characters as well. I know some people are going to look at this and go, what the hell? Some people might go, yeah, this is very based. You know, this is just my opinion. I am not the person that can cast complete judgment over the Tekken community. I don't have all of the answers. I'm just a lowly player that has migrated from Mortal Kombat to play with you guys on Tekken, and I'm not doing half bad, you know. Even though the one and doneers are driving me mad and the amount of rage quitters that I got today was actually absolutely ridiculous, this is just my humble opinion. So I'll catch you guys very soon. Take care of yourselves and peace.